every episode, I'm always like, laugh, scream, cuss, cry. You ask me questions.
Yeah.
Like, I always try to keep it like as conversational and easy as possible, and like, don't ever feel like you're rambling. Like, the more detailed you want to get about stuff, I'm all for it. So, oh yeah, I think it's on the iPad right there. I think. Sweet. Are we good, Nathan?
Yep.
Sweet. Cool.
Thumbs on D&D.
Yep.
Please.
So first thing, I always like to just start at the kind of very beginning, where you grew up. I know you're local to here. Yorba Linda, right?
Yes, Yorba Linda. Born and raised.
What was it like growing up in Yorba Linda?
For me, growing up in Yorba Linda, I grew up with my younger sister and 2 older sisters, and for us, our lifestyle was following my dad to the racetrack. That's what we did, especially in the summertime when we were, out of school. It was we'd pack a suitcase, go on the road, and we'd go from racetrack to racetrack. Those racetracks just felt like home. The people out there, my dad's crew members, other competition felt like bigger brothers to us. It was just, it was so normal for us. I loved my childhood. Our childhood was just, it was great. It was racetracks, race cars, going along with my dad wherever we went. And it was so normal for me. My friends, I remember asking, I didn't realize it was, I guess, out of the ordinary until my friends pointed out, I saw your dad on TV. He drives this race car and it blew up and caught on fire. And that's when people started pointing that out to me, is when I realized, the world that we live in is a little different than most.
Yeah. What was like, do you have a first memory of like being at the racetrack?
First memory. It would have to, my youngest memories, how old would I have been? I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 years old. I'm guessing on how old I was, but they were always back. It was in my dad's tow truck. So we have a tow car that drags his car up to the starting line, and it was always in that tow car with my sisters. We'd climb to the back seat, Austin Coyle's in the front seat. My dad's crew chief he was with, for many years. We'd be in the back seat, and my dad taught us at a young age to be superstitious, that we are, in racing, everybody's superstitious. So if you do this round and you win, you got to do it the second round. So I remember us little girls were all in the back seat, fingers crossed, arms crossed, like everything we could cross. We're like, it worked the first round, it has to work second round. Yeah. So that was probably my earliest memories, was my sisters and I in the back seat of his tow cars, watching him race through the window. We weren't allowed to go on the starting line. If we went up in the stands, my mom had to be there with us. So sitting in the stands, I remember that as a kid. I remember walking up with juice boxes and animal crackers. They had them in the little boxes back then. Yeah. And we'd go up there with our little snack and watch my dad race. And that was probably my earliest memories.
Okay. Was it like seeing your dad race and being that young, was like, from your perspective, like any fear, or like being scared at all, or was it just like a normal
No,
thing?
It was so normal. And even when he did wreck, it was, that initial reaction of, oh gosh, is he okay? But he'd always climb out. Then he'd climb on top of his car. He'd throw his arms up in the air, cheer to the crowd. The fans would applaud him. And that was so normal for me. It was very much this, he had this Superman vibe, that he was Superman. He'd get into these wrecks and he'd always climb out. He'd always be okay. I remember sitting in Pomona and watching him wreck in the stands at 1,000 feet. I remember sitting on the couch at home with my sisters watching Sunday morning, watching him wreck. And there was that little bit of fear, but we always knew he's going to climb out. He always does. And that's always what we've seen for so many years. He'll climb out and he'll wave like he always did.
Yeah. Growing up, like education-wise for you, what did that look like? Because for me, growing up, like I grew up riding and racing dirt bikes and then worked in that industry for 15, 16 years. Education-wise, a lot of those kids coming up through the ranks, it's either like no school or like homeschool. So for you, what did that look like?
School was very normal for us. And my parents, I think, ingrained it in all of us at such a young age. When you get done with high school, you'll go to college. Like, it wasn't an option. It was just, that's what we're supposed to do. That's what my mom did. And, that's what we're all going to do. If we're living under their roof, under their rules, that's what we'll do. And went to Esperanza High School, right down the street. Yep. And I went to Cal State Fullerton. I got actually planned to be a teacher. So I got an English degree and then went on and did extra years to do it secondary education teaching credential.
Oh, wow.
So then I student taught for, I don't know if it was a year. I don't remember if it was 6 months. It was so long ago. But yeah, I have a degree in English. How that translates into drag racing, I have no idea. I do say, I will always say though, for an English major and a teaching credential, I had to take a lot of public speaking classes, which I hated. To me, they were an absolute nightmare. I would have a gut ache for days knowing I have to get up and speak in front of, a classroom of people. Even if it was all planned and I had it on note cards, it was still the idea of getting up in front of everybody and speaking completely terrified me in my core.
Yeah.
So the one thing I will say is I think those classes definitely helped me. There's so many times in my career where whether it's planned, like we know we're going into it, you're getting on stage, you're speaking, or it's randomly they call you up and throw you on stage, it definitely, I think that helped me in my career. But yeah, my plan was at the time I was racing in sportsman. So I got started in the sportsman division.
Okay.
Got licensed in a super comp dragster at 16 years old, raced there for 3 years, then got licensed in an A-field dragster, raced there for another 3 years while I was going to school, getting my credential. Wasn't racing enough with schooling to be able to really be competitive. Mm-hmm. So my plan was when I got done with school, I want to, race for a couple years, get competitive in the A-field category. And then my plan was like teach and go racing in the summers. That's what I wanted to do. Okay. And things shifted.
Yeah.
Nothing ever goes to plan.
Yeah, that's very true. What with getting a degree in English, so I did a semester and a half at OCC, and I was trying to be, at the time, I wanted to be a photojournalist. Mm-hmm. My whole goal, dream was I want to work at Transworld Motocross magazine. Mm-hmm. I achieved that goal, but it was because I ended up dropping out of OCC a semester and a half in, because they had an opening, and they're like, hey, we have a position for an associate editor. We're willing to take a chance on you. And I'm 21 years old. Yeah. I'm like, cool, fuck it. I'm not going back to school. But my degree was going to be, I was going to double major in English and photography. Mm-hmm. And then, dropped out. But for you, why English? What was it that intrigued you about going that route?
I wanted to teach English. I wanted to teach middle school or high school. Once I did a year or whatever it was, 6 months or a year, student teaching middle schoolers, I realized I wanted to do high school. That was what my plan was. But it was just English. That's what I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. I loved English was just always my favorite. Growing up, all my classes, I loved reading, I loved writing. Yeah. And that's what my plan was, to go teaching. And now I look back at that and I don't know how. I can't see myself doing that at all. Yeah. But at the time, I was right out of high school. Mm-hmm. I didn't know what I wanted to do yet.
Yeah. What year did you graduate high school?
2004.
How old are you?
39.
Oh, okay. I'm 38. I'll be 39 in December.
Oh, okay. So we're really close then.
Yeah. Okay. So, what you kind of touched on it, but what was that balance like of you're in college doing these classes and you're essentially racing on the weekends? Oh, actually, hold on. Before that, at what point did you kind of realize you wanted to get into a car and give this a go?
Well, it was 16 years old when I got licensed in a super comp dragster. Mm. And again, I grew up watching my dad race my whole life, but it was such a male-dominated sport. It still is. It always will be. Mm-hmm. And for me, it was just men drive like that. That's always what I saw. And I remember I was really young. I was just a kid sitting in the stands, sitting in the stands with my sisters, and a car had pulled up, a dragster had pulled up, and it had a hot pink stripe across it. And right in that moment, I was like, oh, I'm voting for, we'd always pick our lane, right lane, left lane, and we'd always bet each other up in the stands who's going to win. And the one that had the hot pink caught my attention, the hot pink stripe. So I said, oh, I'm voting on that one. That's my pick. Mm-hmm. And my sister said, do you know there's a girl that drives that car? And in that moment, there's a girl in that car. There's a girl that's doing what my dad does. So that kind of really opened my eyes. It was Shelly Anderson, now Shelly Payne, now Shelly Anderson. No, I'm sorry. No, I got that wrong. Shelly Anderson Payne, who was driving that car. And so in that moment, I became an instant fan of Shelly. We've stayed connected. Our friends, our families, I've been friends for years. They've always been out at the drag races. Mm-hmm. So I connected with them at a young age. But she was the one where I thought, oh my gosh, females can do that. And then shortly after, years later, Ashley, my older sister, got into the seat. Same thing, super comp, A-field. She went into funny car. And watching her do that, being a younger sister, I want to do exactly what she's doing. Yeah. I want to get into a super comp dragster. So I was right behind her on all of it. And in the middle of it, was going to school, trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And then the opportunity came along to test a top field car. We were in the works at the time, 2011, 11, 12, I want to say it was, we were trying to build a safer race car. There have been so many accidents throughout the years. My dad had a horrific accident in 2007. We lost our teammate in 2007. So we were still in the works of building this safer race car. We were working with Ford Motor Company. We were working with the military, and they were building a funny car. Let's do a top fuel car as well. Well, you're in a dragster. Do you want to be the test pilot? Jump in the car, and honestly, I think it was my dad's way of getting me into a top fuel car, because I always said, no, I'm not getting in one of those cars. I've seen what you do. I've sat at the 1,000 foot when you guys blow past us at 330 miles per hour.
Yeah.
No way will I ever get in one of those.
Yeah.
I just won't. I'm good. In my A-Field dragster, they go 265 miles per hour. That is good enough. So I think it was his way of getting me in the car.
Okay.
I'm always very the adventurous type. I won't say no. Like, sure, sign me up. And then it's getting a team together, getting this chassis built, getting all the parts, all the pieces together to go out and go testing, getting me in all my proper gear. And I'll never forget when it started to boil down to everything. I was like, holy shit. What did I just get myself into? Yeah, it sounded great in the moment. And now that we're going to go testing and I'm going to be the one driving this freaking dragster, I was absolutely terrified. I was like, holy crap. Okay, just get in the thing. Now that, all these pieces have been put together for me, I got to get in this thing. But I was absolutely terrified. Terrified of more the unknown, not driving the car. I mean, I'm comfortable in my cars. I would never say, driving Super Comp A-Fuel. I was terrified to drive the first time, yes. But once you get in it, there's the fear in the back of your head that something can go wrong, but you shouldn't be driving if you're fearful of it.
Yeah.
But again, now this is the unknown. Never been in this car. So if it does something goofy, if there's a weird sound, how do I know if that's normal or is something wrong? So it was really that. And I remember driving out to the racetrack with my dad. He was probably the worst person to drive to that racetrack with that morning. If you've ever met my dad or know anything about my dad, he is quite a character.
Yeah.
He doesn't stop talking. He is on all the time. That's always how he's been. And we're driving out, and his best way to get me prepared for climbing in the dragster was talking about all the terrible things that have gone wrong in dragsters, all the terrible accidents he's seen, and how to make sure you avoid that. Yeah. And I'm like, I just want to get in this thing and just do a lot. Let's just go like 60 feet. Let's work our way down the racetrack. And he's telling me about every terrible wreck, everything he's seen that's awful. And I'm like, putting all this, in my head right now is not give me the confidence and that boost that I need to go climbing this thing. So I'm like, okay. And then I remember clouds were like rolling in. We're in West Palm Beach, Florida. Okay. And I'm like praying, okay, hopefully it rains and I'll get out of this today just so I could stew on it a little bit longer because tomorrow will be better. Yeah. Well, it didn't happen. No rain came through. Had to get into the car. For me, I'm very routine helps me. Yeah. Visualizing things help me. So I sat in the car and just went through the run. Visualized everything that I'm supposed to do. Got comfortable with the whole setup, what I'm doing in the car. The levers are now in different spots than my A-Field dragster, so everything's a little different. Okay. So mentally, that helped me prepare. And then, I stepped on the gas, drove it to 60 feet, and that was it for that one run. And then I came back, and it was like, okay, I got this. I loved it. It's a lot faster than my A-Field dragster. Let's work our way down the racetrack. And I slowly worked my way, down the track. It was, I followed my dad's racing schedule. So it was when his teams would go testing, I would go testing on a Monday after a Charlotte event or a Las Vegas event, we'd go testing. And by the end of the season, I'd made a ton of runs, but never to the 1,000-foot marker. And it was Las Vegas, the strip out at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Yeah. It was my first full run down the racetrack. And let me go back for a second. I made it very clear to my dad, I'll test this car for, the safety that we're looking for, whatever we need to learn from it, but I want to go back to A-Fuel. Mm-hmm. I don't want to drive this car. I don't want to compete in it. I want to go back to A-Fuel. And my plan is when I'm done with school, I want to be a teacher, and that's what I want to do. Mm-hmm. So now jump forward to Las Vegas Motor Speedway. I made my first full pass all the way down the racetrack to 1,000 feet. And I remember I got out on the other end. My dad ran over to me. Everyone was so pumped. It was our first pass that we ever made. Mm-hmm. And in that moment, I knew that's what I wanted to do. Everything that I'd, built up, everything I'd, gone to school for, everything I'd planned had gone out the window. I was absolutely hooked in that moment. And it was, I want to get back in this car. This is what I want to do. This is going to be my career. I knew in that moment.
Wow. What about it clicked for you in that moment?
I don't know. I was so torn throughout the year testing in this car, and I loved it, but I'd also gone to school, and my whole plan was, I'm a planner. Mm-hmm. So I think now something that got thrown to me that I wasn't in my plan, I think really mixed things up for me. But it was getting in that car, and it was just, driving something like that, you can't compare it to anything. I've been on roller coasters. I've been skydiving before. You can't compare it to anything. And just the adrenaline, the rush, the fact that you're behind the wheel of this beast of a car and I'm controlling it, and you could turn on wind lights possibility because I wasn't there yet. I was just testing. That to me was so exciting. I needed more of it. I wanted more. I wanted to now go to the competition side of it.
Okay. What backtracking a little bit with your dad, like, was there a moment where you were like, it clicked, like your dad's like this icon in the sport? Because like even growing up for me, like in the 90s, like I remember seeing him in the Castro fire suit, like the white with the red and green stripe, and just a total character.
Yeah.
So yeah, was there like a moment where you were like, oh yeah, my dad's kind of somebody?
I think it was at the races when he started winning a lot, and we were, it was countless wins and then championships, and always being in the winner circle with my sisters. But I also think it was, I remember, you're local to here. Do you remember Coco's Bakery?
Oh yeah,
Okay, that's where we grew up.
Okay.
We don't have them anymore.
No.
Like they've all closed up.
There's one left by Disneyland off Harbor and
Yes.
maybe Chapman, I think.
Okay, you're right, because we did have one in Brea, and unfortunately it shut
by
down.
the Brea Mall, right?
Yes, and we would still go there. When we drive home from Pomona, we'd pop into Coco's. It was like our childhood restaurant we'd go to.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved it. But I remember we had the same booth. We always had the same waitress. We'd go there all the time. My mom was never a cook. She never cooked food. We'd eat out a lot. And I remember my dad had come home from a race, and we all went to dinner. It was Coco's. Sat in our same little booth. My sister and I with our little coloring books or coloring the kids' menu, and people constantly coming over, kind of interrupting the meal to get a picture with my dad or get an autograph. I think it was in that moment where I was like, hold on, we're not at a racetrack, and people are asking for his picture. We're at Coco's. We're at our local restaurant. I think it was that moment where I was like, okay, it's something a little different than what I always thought, I guess.
Yeah. What's the process of coming up through the ranks in that world? Like, I'm probably going to make a lot of parallels to the dirt bike world, but like in that world, there's your local amateur scene. And then if you're good enough in that kind of arena, you can take it nationally. There's some bigger amateur nationals across the country. And then from there, if there's like some potential, hopefully you get picked up by a team, they'll take you in the professional ranks, try to go do the whole supercross, motocross thing. So in your world, what does that kind of look like for you guys, like that process?
Honestly, it was, like I said, I raced in the sportsman division for about 6 years, but I wasn't very competitive. I tried to be, but I also was only racing 14 events a season. I was also going to school at the time, so my focus was split between two different things. So it was really hard to be competitive. For me, it was, the opportunity that came along to get into a top fuel car. And then it was the support system around me. That's how I was able to make that transition. That's how I was able to move into a top fuel car, where then I really became, full circuit. I went pro in 2013 was my rookie season. But it was the support system. I was very lucky. I was under my dad's, umbrella, John Force Racing. Obviously, his whole team took me on. I've only ever been with John Force Racing. That's the only place I would ever go. And then sponsors. Sponsors are the toughest thing to come by. I started with Castrol Edge, and then we parted ways, and then Monster came on. And they've been my primary sponsor since 2015. And we've had Flavor Pack, we've had HendrickCars.com, Chevrolet, Peak, Cornwall Tools, most recently GRP, Graham Rahal Performance. So we've had a lot that have come through, but it's the sponsors that helped us, maintain and be able to be out there competitively and race a full circuit.
Yeah. So from the time you made your way all the way down the track to you having your first full season as a professional, what was that timeline like from when that happened to when you're finally making your debut?
I want to say it was pretty quickly, because if we were running in Vegas, I don't remember, I think it was fall, so it would have been October. And then our next season started when I got in 2013, would have been February was when our season kicked off.
Okay.
Again, I'd have to go back and look at photos to make sure, was it Vegas fall? I believe it was, or was it our earlier Vegas? But once I made that kind of decision. And the pieces were kind of coming together. Like they were kind of already building a team, whether I was going to be the driver or we're going to find somebody else. So it was kind of all collectively coming together. But I was still on the fence of like, I was so torn like that year we were testing because I'm such a planner. This is what my plan was. And now this is kind of shaking it up a little bit. And I remember I was just torn, but it was, I'd wake up one morning, nope, I'm going to go this route. And then the next morning be the other way. And it was like, how can I be so confused, so torn on it? And it was the Las Vegas run that sold me. I knew in that moment.
What and what was that like making your debut and you're giving this a go? Like this is kind of an all-in moment for you. Like what did that feel like?
Again, it was a very terrifying moment. Again, it's just that fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
Now I'm not testing on a solo run. Now there's a car in the lane next to me. Now there's a whole team behind me that pressure weighs on you. You have a team that built you, that put this car together to win races, and now you're in the driver's seat. Now it's up to you. They've done everything. Now it's up to you to get down the racetrack and turn a win light on. The pressure of your sponsors. You want to do well for them, the company, Jumpers Racing, myself as a driver. All this added pressure comes into the mix of it. And now also, not that there's another driver in the lane next to you, but now you look up in the stands, and the stands are filled with people. So it's just this whole new world, that I was never really exposed to. And I remember we always start our season in Pomona. Well, actually, they've changed it the last few years, but it was always Pomona. We'd start our season. It was my home track, so I felt comfortable there. I've, ran in the sportsman division there. And now coming out, it was like my first race. I felt like all eyes on me. I'm a female in this, again, male-dominated sport. At the time, I was only competing against one other female. So it was, I carried a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
And then once I got in the role and started figuring things out, very more comfortable. But I look back on my rookie season, I feel like, oh my gosh, I've come such a long way.
Yeah. So the first time I went to a race was Pomona in 2022. My best friend. My best friend from
Pomona 1 or
Pomona 2.
Okay, finals.
Yeah, it was finals. And my best friend from high school, Nathan, him and his dad are like massive car guys, and they grew up going to the races and whatnot. And he, for years, was always trying to get me to go. And I don't know why, I just never went. And then, we went. He convinced me and my wife, and we went. And I was like, holy shit, this is this is insane. Like, I was nervous because of like how loud it was going to be, and like we had headphones and stuff. But even still, I'm like, oh my god.
TV doesn't do it justice.
No.
That's the problem.
No. And I was like, again, being in the dirt bike world and traveling all over and like been in all the stadiums, all the races, done all that, and we're right there next to those guys. And it's, I don't know that you get numb to it, but it just becomes like part of, this is just what I do, you know? But then going and seeing what you guys do, I was like, this is like, I can't even wrap my, like mentally, like wrap my head around like how you do what you do.
Yeah, it is crazy. And my favorite spot to watch a race was always the 1,000-foot, because that's where they're accelerating the quickest when they go through that the finish line. And that was always my favorite spot. And I remember when you're watching from there and you see them go past you, I'm sitting there like, holy shit. Like, I remember watching Ashley race my dad, and it was like, these things are freaking moving.
Yeah.
And now till this day, when I go up and if my team loses, we're out early, we'll go sit in the stands together. We'll always sit at 1,000-foot. And I still watch them go by, and I'm like, holy shit, how am I also driving that car? Like, I mean, it's just a different perspective when you're sitting in the stands watching it.
Yeah.
I will say, when you're in the car, it's not as violent. It's not as loud. I have the engine behind me. I have earplugs in. I have a canopy around me, helmet. It is much quieter. It's not as violent as standing behind one of them on the starting line or listening or watching from the stands.
Yeah.
But yeah, they are an animal. I mean, it's 330 miles per hour. Now we're doing 340 miles per hour, less than 4 seconds. It's 11,000 horsepower. I pull 6 to 7 Gs within the first second and a half, and then negative 6 Gs when we throw our chutes. So it is a lot.
That was something I was wondering too, because being in the stands and watching it, it's like, man, I don't know how you don't like black out, you know?
Yeah, I've had moments where I've been on the edge.
Yeah, but yeah, I was curious. Like, it does look violent, so to hear you say like being in there is not as bad as it looks from the outside is interesting.
Yeah, I've always thought that. Again, I also added the canopy and to my car in 2014, I think it was.
What
Not
was-
all top fuel cars have canopies.
Yeah. What was the reasoning for that?
Safety reasons.
Okay.
We saw it as, I mean, you could look at both ends of it. Some will fight that it's not safer. For me, I'd done my rookie season without a canopy, and then we decided to put it on the car and see how it felt, and I liked it. I just personally, I feel safer in it. I'm
Okay.
enclosed. If a car blows up in front of me, nothing's going to come in and get me. If my car blows up, again, it adds weight to the car, which therefore slows the car down, whatever.
Yeah.
But for me, I feel safer in it.
Okay.
And it is quieter, which is
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, that was gonna be my other thing too. Like if there was any performance wise, any of the pros or cons to.
I
running
mean, it
that.
adds 50 pounds.
Oh wow.
But being a female competing against men, I kind of have that advantage being smaller compared to some of the men I compete against. So
Yeah.
we had a place to add weight to the car. We were fine doing that. Again, it's just preference. Some people, there's still drivers out there that don't compete with a canopy.
Yeah, yeah. Do you guys like in between races? Like, what does testing look like for you guys? Because I imagine it's obviously very expensive to keep
It
these
is.
cars going. So like, what do those test days look like during the week?
It's usually we'll do, like we tested, actually no, we were going to go on Brainerd, but we got rained, so we got rained out. It's usually all the teams kind of come together collectively and decide, do we want to go testing here? Because you have to rent out a whole racetrack.
Yeah.
That's expensive.
Yeah.
One team can't do that. So it's kind of all of us come together and kind of make a plan for where we're going to test.
Okay.
Because you have to rent out the racetrack, then a safety safari. You have to have a helicopter on site. You have to have all these things that you don't even think about. Cost money.
Yeah.
So it is expensive to do, but sometimes we need to go, test new parts, or, we're going into the countdown. We want to make sure we're ready to be at that competitive level, or it's the beginning of the season, end of the season, going into next season, whatever it is. We do go testing, and it's usually after events on Mondays. We don't do as much as we used to.
Okay.
But yeah, we still go testing.
Like, what do those days look like when you are testing? Like, what is it kind of that you're working on the car and whatnot?
They are exhausting. They're exhausting, and I think it's because there's no prize at the end of it.
Yeah.
When you're qualifying, you're trying to qualify, obviously number one, but top 5 would be great. On race day, you're trying to turn on win lights to get to that winner circle. So there's a prize on the other end of it. There's this extra incentive. Now, when you're testing, there's nothing. There's no schedule. They are the longest days. You could be doing 6 runs in a day. You're mentally, physically exhausted by the end of it. The team who's tearing an engine apart and rebuilding it within 40 minutes between each lap, they're exhausted. It's, again, I go back to, I'm very much like I like routine. I like a plan.
Yeah.
And on test days, we don't know how many laps. We'll see as many as we could get in from when the sun goes up to when the sun goes down.
Yeah.
So we need to go testing. There's some weekends where, we're just making mistakes on the race. Just something's wrong in the car. We need to figure it out, so we'll go testing. They're not my favorite.
Yeah. I can
They're
imagine.
exhausting.
Yeah. What's like for you kind of a training regimen, like to be in shape for this? Because I know it's 4 seconds, but there's a lot happening to your body in those 4 seconds.
Yeah, for me, so in the beginning of our season, when we go testing before the season kicks off, so now I've been out of the seat for, months. Our season goes from March until November. So that off season, we're in the holidays, you're busy, we're going. But when we do start back up, we'll go testing like February. And so my body, I've been out of the seat for a few months.
Yeah.
So when I climb back in, it's always after the first couple days. I'm so not used to, again, it's like the acceleration. It's the G's that we're pulling in that car. The speeds, I'm not used to it because I've been out of practice for a few months. My body's like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
And we wear a 7-point harness, and where that harness goes, I will have broken blood vessels, bruises, just my body's not used to it.
Yeah.
How do you train for that though? You can't really train anywhere except for testing. I mean, mentally, physically, I could train, but not for 6 to 7 Gs. There's nowhere to do that.
Yeah.
So those first few days are rough. I am like mentally exhausted by the end of the day. Go back to the hotel room. We'll sleep as much as I can before we go out. And then after a few days of it, I'm kind of loosen up. I'll get used to it. And by the time, our season kicks off, first race of the season, I'm ready to go. Like bruises are gone, and now they don't come back. It's like my body it needed to get used to it again for a little bit. Okay, this is what we're doing now.
Yeah.
But for me, I feel like I drive my best when, I'm working out, eating right. For me, I have to put in a lot of extra work just to keep up with the competition. Some of these guys out here, falls on the driver is reaction time, pedaling the car, keeping it in the groove. There's a lot that goes into it. It's not just stepping on the gas. And so for me, my struggle area has always been reaction time.
Okay.
That's always been the toughest thing for me. Races have come down to drivers have won and lost races because of the driver reacting. So for me, I put in as much work as I can. I've read books on the mental aspect of it. In the actual gym, I focus on lower body, like explosive movements, and it's for building that strength, quickness, power for stepping on the throttle pedal. So that those lower body quick movements, I make sure I always focus on that. I work with a martial arts instructor, and we work on eye-hand coordination drills.
Okay.
I carry those out to the racetrack with me. My guys sometimes will work with me on just, doing exercises before race day or, throughout qualifying. And then yoga. Yoga's another one. I personally love it. It's my escape. But it also kind of, for me, it trains you how to quiet your mind. Up there in that sport, when it's race day and you're in that car, you can't be overthinking. And that's a really hard place for me to get to, that autopilot. I mean, in the zone, you're not thinking, you're just reacting. It's hard for me to get there. I'm thinking about who's in the line next to me, what he did last round, what's on the line right now. My sponsor's here, he's standing behind me on this. Like, you have to wipe all that noise out of your head. So yoga has always been a place that's kind of taught me, quiet your mind, focus on what you need to, and that has been helpful for me. So I really do. I put in the work. I try to work out 4 times a week if I can, but it's mostly in those areas that help me. And then also I have a simulator, I guess you'd call it, at home. I have a cockpit in my spare bedroom that I climb into with a Christmas tree on the other end of the room, and I'll sit there and sometimes I'll suit up, put a helmet on and everything to make it just like the real thing, as close as I can.
Yeah.
And I'll go through the motions of runs, and then practicing reaction time.
Okay.
Just constantly practicing. I was on it this morning before I came here.
Oh,
And
wow.
I have one in my lounge, so
Yeah.
I hit it as much as I can.
That's cool. In terms of like the human body aspect of the sport, like in your opinion, is what you do more physical or more mental, or is it kind of?
It's mental.
Yeah.
I definitely think it's mental. For me, that's where I've struggled. Again, reaction time, overthinking things. If you're up there thinking about, I can't be late or I can't go red, it's like instantly you do it. You got to have this clear mind. You have to find this balance, this space of where you're calm, but you got this fire in your gut at the same time, and it's this kind of just quiet zone, and you're ready for it.
Yeah.
It's finding that, and there's weekends where I'll get there and it's easy for me to find it, and there's days where I cannot shut my brain off and I'm overthinking things, and it screws me up.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm always curious about that. Like, I'm a pretty big advocate for like mental health, and like, again, going back to dirt bikes, I've done a lot of projects with some of these guys, like literally champion level guys that we've done these projects, and we've gone into like the mental side of the sport and what they go through. And some of them have on camera admitted, hey, I have accomplished these goals. I've won these titles, these championships, but like I still have had to go like sit down, talk to someone to like work through like the psychology of it. And I think it's cool when they open up about it, but then it'll be time to release the project and be like, hey, can we take that part out? Because I don't want like my competition knowing that like I'm going to see someone or that I have, because it will make me look weak. And I'm like, I get it. But like what anyone at the peak of their sport is doing, like there's such a gnarly mental aspect to it that like I feel like it should be more something that is more like we're more open about, you know?
No, I could be open with you on that. Again, the mental aspect of it is very difficult. Again, you're sitting on, the starting line, and you're trying to turn on a wind light for the 9 guys standing behind you that have put their freaking heart, they've put everything into this race car. They've put the best race car together. And now you have the pressure of, you don't want to lose, you don't want to screw up for them. Again, the sponsors. I mean, there's so many behind the line. So as a driver, I carry so much pressure when I pull up there every single time. Yeah. And you want to do well. I mean, and I want to do well for myself too. It's also, I want to improve every single weekend. I set goals every time I go out. Okay, this is what I did last weekend. These were the mistakes I made. How do I improve? I want to get better. I want to, see myself. And again, I know that it's going to come down at some point and you're going to have bad weekends. How do you get out of those bad weekends? Getting mentally, how do you leave those weekends behind and come back? How do you let it make you stronger? I've worked with health coaches, mental health coaches. Actually, it was the year I won my first championship. So it was 2017. The guy's name is Scott Garwood. Let me repeat that, Scott Garwood. He's worked with people in the industry before. He actually worked with my sister, now that I'm remembering it. And again, we call him the mind freak.
Okay.
What is he doing? We're sitting down having conversations about, I just red lit in the last, qualifying run, or I screwed up, and that's all you're thinking about, and now you got to carry that into the next round. How do you mentally forget that, leave it behind? You can't carry it in the car with you or you're going to screw yourself up. How do you leave that behind? How do you find that confidence when you go up there, whether you came out of a good weekend, a bad weekend? How do you find this new confidence that, yes, the guy in the lane next to me is the best lever in the entire industry? How do you get confidence to line up against him? So he just would have these drills and things I still use to this day. One of the big ones is that visualization. For me, that has really helped. Really visualizing. When we go up there, I'm strapped in the car. I'm still a few pairs back, visualizing what I want to see. Visualizing what the car is doing, what kind of light I'm going to cut. If it gets in trouble, can I quickly recover the car and get it down the racetrack? Visualizing a win light, visualizing my team at the top end. So much of that helps me. I don't know if people that I compete against, I don't know if they're on that same level. Maybe that's the female side of it. I do things differently. But so much of it is, yes, the mental aspect of it. And like I said, I've worked with people. I've read books on the mental side of it. But the visualization one has been a big one for me.
That's cool. That's cool to hear. I mean, even because I've worked as a cinematographer, editor for so long, and even in that, it was one of the reasons I actually started to go see a therapist, because you get, for me, kind of insecure in what you're doing, and you do a good job. I've worked with Red Bull, American Honda, KTM, big clients, and things go well, and then they don't call you back, and you see someone else is now working for them on the next project, and you're like, well, there was no issues. Everything went great, delivered on time, no complaints. What's wrong with me? So even on that end, from a creative side, it was all for me easy to spiral and be like, cool, I guess I'm just not good. And
I've been there. I've been in that exact position where sponsor across my chest and suddenly, sorry, we can't stay in this. I'm not going to say names or who. Yeah. And then 3 weeks later, you see it on a different driver. Yeah, it's tough. It's not easy. It affects you. Am I not good? You start going down that negative path.
100%. Yeah, and I've always it took me a long time to finally go sit down and see someone, because it would affect my mood. My wife would be like, "What is your problem? You gotta you're okay. It's fine." And obviously things always, they work out. But it's even from like I said, a creative side it's tough dealing with that mental side. At what point for you, after 2013 and you won your first title in 2017, when did things start to click for you where you're like, I think I can compete and go after a championship?
Let's see. Well, my first win was in Gainesville at the Gator Nationals. And for so many years I chased that first win. It didn't come soon on. It took a few years of my career until I got that first win. And then in 2017, we won a championship. And even in till the end of that thing, we were in the hunt for a championship. And it wasn't that I doubted myself or my team, but it was, how are the people in front of me that we're chasing, that we're trying to catch, how are they going to drop out to allow us to get around? And it was after we won that championship where I thought, holy I never imagined winning a championship. For me, I wanted to come out, and it started, I just want to get around one. I want to see that win light come on at the top end. And then it was, I want to win races. A championship was just so far removed down the road. My dad won 16 championships, but he was in the sport forever until he got there. Yeah. Championships are not easy to come by. And so when we were in the middle of it, again, I had this belief, yes, we can do this. I have the greatest team behind me, but how are the people, it was Steve Torrance at the time, how is he going to, he's a tough competitor. He's not going to he's not going to fall out. How are we going to get around him? We can't unless he, opens the door for us to go around him. And the pieces fell. It was Pomona. It was the finals. Actually, it was the event you were at then. Did you say you were there? No, you said 2022.
2022. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was 2017. I came out of Las Vegas. Oh, again, this is when I was working with that health coach, mental health coach. 2017, we went to Las Vegas. I was in the final round. So now we're moving up. We were, I think, like 7th in points, and now we were moving up to the number 1 spot.
Okay.
Very end of the season, we're in Las Vegas, and final round, I red lit. So my whole team's standing there, red lit, we're done. Like, didn't even give our car a chance to go down the racetrack and turn a wind light on. Like, driver error, I screwed it all up. Mm-hmm. I, cost my team the win. And now we're going into Pomona. We're still in the fight for a championship, but now I'm carrying this red light with me. How do you go into the biggest battle of my entire career? Yeah. We're chasing down a championship. We are just, points away. How do I leave that behind me and try to win this race? Mm-hmm. Well, we went out, and it was second round. I was lined up against in Pomona, final race of the season. We're right behind Steve Torrance. It was second round. Steve Torrance was running in front of us, and again, I know it's on the line. If he loses, as long as we turn a win light on, we will be crowned champion. Mm-hmm. And if he wins, then we got to keep chasing him, hoping he goes out and we can get around him, is what it came down to. That's how tight the points were. Yeah. And he runs in front of us. Again, I've learned lessons from the past where I've seen cars explode. I've seen a dragster blow over. I don't pay attention because it mentally screws me up. When you're strapped in that car, you'll about have a panic attack if you see a dragster in front of you blow over and crash into a wall. Yeah. So it's like I could see the commotion. I knew he had lost, but again, I'm not focused and I'm not paying attention to it. So then we pull up and it's like, okay, now there is this pressure of this is a championship run. If we turn a win light on, we will win. If we don't turn it on, he's won the championship. Yeah. So we pull up there and oh my gosh, talk about this nerves that I can't even explain. Like you just want to get sick. I was so nervous, and it's like, okay, wipe that out. This is what I do every single weekend. Put that away. Put the red light. Red light's gone because I've already, coming into the weekend, I've eliminated it from my mind. Do what I know how to do. Do what I normally do. Mm-hmm. Turn a wind light on. Have a good light. See if we get down that racetrack and turn a wind light on. And it was lined up against Richie Crampton, and it was a killer run. I left on him. Killer run straight down the racetrack. Turned a wind light on. So we won in that moment. We ended up actually going on and won the race. So we were number 1 qualifier. We won the Pomona finals, and then we won a championship. And so that one to me was like, I couldn't even believe it. That was more of a surreal championship win. Yeah. Surreal. Like I never imagined it. Yes, that's what you're going for, but are you ever going to be able to get there? Mm-hmm. So the second time around we won was in 2022. So that was the event that you were at. Yep. And now this time, after winning a championship, now you're hungry for it. Yeah. Now it's like, you got to do it again. And so that one, it came from a different place. I had a new perspective on it. Before it was this surreal thing, and I knew we could, but how do we get around that guy in front of us? But now it's like, oh, I don't care. We're going to chase him down however we can. Mm-hmm. And again, we came in on the opposite end of it. First championship, we were chasing the guy. Second championship, we were out ahead. So now it's a different mind game. Yeah. Now everything's on the line. When you're chasing the guy, you have nothing to lose. Yeah. Now we're on the other end of it. We have to stay out in front. How do you do that mentally? So it's not easy. It's definitely tough. But then we won the championship in 2022. So that one was it was with a different team. It was with my crew chief I'm with now, David Grubnick, and all my guys. They're outstanding. But that one was special too.
What, like, out of those two, which one for you stands out more, maybe has more meaning, or are they both pretty equal for you?
They do for different reasons. The first one, because it was that surreal moment. It was the first championship. Again, I never imagined if I could ever get there. Mm-hmm. But the second one was, I knew we could do it because we'd done it before. Let's freaking prove that we can. Yeah. And, we were strong all season long. The season before actually was one of my toughest seasons. I made a lot of mistakes in the seat. We could have been in the hunt for a championship, and I kind of held our team back. So mentally putting that behind me and coming into this season and then to come out on top was a big one for me.
What do you think was going on in 2021 for you?
In my head.
Okay.
Mentally in my head, would go into a race weekend and lost on a whole shot.
Oh,
So
wow.
now I'd go into the
Okay.
next weekend carrying that with me, couldn't find a way to leave it behind, lose on a whole shot again. And it like happened. I mean, weekends and weekends in a row. And it's just my team, like, and my team's great. They're like, it's okay, put it behind you, we'll go to the next one, we'll win. And then I would do it again. So now it's like I'm carrying this with me, and it's, how do you get it? I'm so far in my head, how do you get out of that place?
Yeah.
And it's people, you know, I'd had so many other drivers try to help me, you know, my own teammates, like, you have to find a way to put it behind you and just go up there and drive like you used to. Like, you don't give a shit. Well, how do you go up there and find that space of I don't give a shit when you care about something so much and there's so much on the line? It's hard, but it's that autopilot. It's getting into that zone, you know, where, yeah, you have that confidence, you have that fire in your gut, but you're calm and you're just, I'm going to go out there and kill it. Like, I don't need to tell myself how to do it. I know that I can.
Yeah.
So I got off track. I forgot what you originally asked me.
Oh, just that 21 season, like what was going on? Like that was causing you to struggle so badly?
So it was just carrying it over. And it was just, I was so in my head about it, trying so hard not to do that I would keep doing that. And then that season I worked with, didn't work with the Garwood guy, the Mind Freak guy, worked with Frank Colley, who teaches driving school out just to go back to the basics. So I worked with him for a little while and teach me the basics, because obviously I forgot them at some point. And I'm so focused on just reaction time, I can't even feel like I can't even drive anymore. And so I worked with him, and I think he was, you know, really helpful in that season. My lights started to definitely, you know, turn a corner towards the end of the season, but by then, when we were in that countdown, we were out. We were out of the race. We weren't chasing a championship anymore.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'll never forget it. I want to say it was Reading, Pennsylvania. So I was working with that coach, trying to put, you know, the bad races behind us, and got beat on a whole shot again. And it was one of those freak runs. I had like a 53 light. That is a killer, 053 light. That is a killer light. You can't get any better. It just so happens the guy in the next lane next to me had like a 23 light. Again, I'm making up numbers. I don't know what exactly it was.
Yeah.
And my team came back and they helped me. I was so like, how did I lose again on another hole shot? And I had a 53 light. Like, that is a kill. That you can't get any better than that.
Yeah.
And I remember they came back and they high-fived me like, that was killer. Who cares what he did in his lane? You just, you know, what you did in that lane, what you did in that car, from, you know, the struggles you come from, high five. We don't care that we lost.
Yeah.
Our driver's back.
Yeah.
And so they have been a big part of, they've been such a support system around me, helping me through. We've cried on each other's shoulders. We've had good days and bad days. We celebrate the wins together. We pick ourselves up after, you know, those bad weekends. But they've definitely been a big support system around me.
So you have that going into 22. You win that title. What, like, I guess that off season, like, what kind of clicked for you going into 22?
I don't know what it was that clicked. I think it was just, I started to see my progress. I mean, I struggled throughout the season, and then coming towards the end of the season, when again we were already out of it, then I started to get back on my game. And so I carried that into the next season. How I finished my season, I was proud of those runs. Even though our car didn't make it down the racetrack or whatever it was, I focused on me and my lane and what I was capable of and improving on that. And so to go out where I was, you know, happy for how the season had been, I carried that over to next season. And now let's just improve from there. Let's try to go beyond that, get better, keep staying positive, keep mentally visualizing, you know, positive runs, you know, positive, just the whole scenario.
Yeah.
Picture that.
Was there, so backtracking to 2017, after you win that title, you're going into these next few years, was there the expectation, like, all right, well, we've done it once, now it's like, this is the bar, like, we have to keep meeting that bar?
Again, you have the taste for it, so you want to do it again. I had a lot of people tell me, oh, you got lucky. Steve Torrance that year, I want to say he wrecked in Dallas. He was, I mean, out ahead of everybody all season long. He was killing it. And I want to say he wrecked in Dallas. Is that right, Darren?
Yes.
Okay, so he wrecked in Dallas. And now we're in the last few races of our season, and I mean, he had to swap cars, so now he pulls out a whole new car. And so a lot of people were pointing that, like, oh, if he didn't wreck, if he were in his, the car that he raced in all season long, things would have been different. You got lucky. Everything just, all the pieces fell the right way, and you were able to skate on through. Mm-hmm. So there was kind of that in the back of my mind. A lot of people told me that, and I wanted to prove them wrong. And not that I care about proving anybody wrong, but it was more myself. Like, I want to prove, like, I want to win another one.
Yeah.
We won this first one. I want to do it again.
Yeah. How's your, like, with your dad being who he is, how has he been with you in your career? Like, is he someone that you can go to for help and advice, or does he kind of stay back? Like, how's that dynamic with you guys?
He does a little bit of both. Sometimes it's a little too much. He'll get in your ear and he'll tell you way too much, and he always means well, but sometimes it tells you the wrong shit before going into first round, and it's like, don't talk about a red light before first round. Like, everybody knows you do not say red light on race day. Yeah. So sometimes he goes about it wrong, but he always means well. Actually, in 2017, so our first championship, I was with Alan Johnson, crew chief Alan Johnson. Okay. And my dad was so in my pit. I mean, I would have a helmet on in the car, and he'd be leaning in, telling me about the racetrack and how it, the right lane has a dip in it and 600 feet. Make sure whatever. He'd be telling me too much before getting ready to go out and run. And so my crew chief said, "You're not allowed in our pits anymore. Yes, I know we're under your John Force Racing umbrella, but she is my driver. Yeah. You are out of our pits once the countdown starts." And it's a funny thing we joke about now, but at the time he was pissed. He wasn't happy about it.
Yeah.
Anyways, that year we ended up going on to win a championship. But my relationship with my dad, I give all the credit to the reason I've, had this career and been successful and had the opportunity is because of him. So I'm really grateful for everything. And he showed me everything about the sport. He taught me everything, not just the driving side of it, but getting up and speaking in front of, sponsor shows and going out meeting with the fans, doing media events. I mean, he taught me all of it. So really, I have to give him all the credit. We have days where we have ups and downs where we cannot get along. I mean, we travel together, we work together, we do everything together. And we're in and out of a different city every single weekend. We're on flights. We spend too much time together, is what it is. So we have our moments where we get along, we're best friends, and then where we can't stand each other. And it's like, okay, we just need to stay clear of each other. We need to chill for a little while. Yeah. But my dad, I still go to him for advice. I mean, he's won 16 championships. No one's ever done that anywhere. So he is, in my eyes, he's the best driver out there.
Is there any, for you being his daughter, is there any like pressure you feel because of who your father is, and like there's maybe an unfair expectation put on you because of who he is?
I never saw it that way. Okay. No one could ever fill his shoes. He's done too much in the sport. Yeah. I'm not going to try. Like, what he's done is just impossible. And I would never try to fill his shoes. No one could ever do that. Yeah. But for me, I never saw it as this added pressure. Yes, I know I came into the sport following in his footsteps. I carry the name. I never saw it as that because he was always on my side. He was always on my team. He was in my corner. He was my biggest support system. He had my back through everything, through the good days and the bad days. So I never saw it as that. I saw it as I had him to go to. I mean, he pushed all of us girls when we were all driving hard. He's not easy, I'll tell you that. He's he knows what we're capable of, and sometimes he'll push us to that point if need be. And again, he knows how this sport works. He knows the pressure we carry. He knows the mental side. He knows all sides of it. So he's very in tune with it all. And us girls, my sisters and I, coming up in the sport, he wasn't easy, but it made us stronger. I think it made us better drivers.
Yeah. One of the things that stood out to me when we went in 2022, I was shocked in a good way. I felt like there was a fair amount of female drivers, and I was like, this is pretty cool. And at the time, we had just found out my wife is pregnant. We have a little girl now, and I was like,
congratulations.
I was like, man, this is like cool to see a sport like this where it's heavily male dominated, but there are females in this world competing at a high level and like being badass. What has that been like for you as a woman in this type of sport?
Yeah, it has. It's really from my rookie season up until now, a handful of girls have come into, the industry,
Mm-hmm.
racing, driving,
Yeah.
in top fuel. Right now, I'm still, for the last couple of years, I'm the only female, full-time racing female.
Okay.
There are females that come out and do a handful of races. I've become friends with a bunch of them. Alexis DeJoria, she's in the funny car full-time. She competed against Courtney years ago. So, yeah, there is a mix of a handful of females coming in the sport, which I love. I'm always, if there's another female, unless they're in the lane next to me, I'm rooting for them. Just because we are in this male-dominated sport. It is different being there's only a few of us out there, so I always see it as we stick together.
Yeah.
My under John Force Racing, our umbrella out on the road, I'm the only female. We used to have one other female under our umbrella, and it was a PR girl. She's not with us anymore, but I am the only female out there. So anytime there's another female, I try to team up with them.
Yeah.
And definitely fully supporting all the females that have come in over the years. There's been a handful of them, which I think is great. And there's more coming next season.
That's awesome. Correct me if I'm wrong, but was there a time where you were maybe going to go the funny car route?
Yes, it
Okay.
was, I want to say it was 2014 or 2015. I can't remember the year.
Okay.
But we lost sponsors. We didn't have a sponsor to fund my top fuel car. And to go back to a funny car would make the most sense because we already build everything. We have everything. We have everything for funny cars because we've been a funny car team for forever.
Yeah.
Top Fuel was this new animal we brought into our pits. So it was kind of coming down to, if we don't get a sponsor, we're going to have to go funny car racing. Obviously, that's a decision up to me. I'd rather be in the seat of something than nothing. So I said, okay, let's go testing. So I went testing that year a handful of times in a funny car. It was Courtney's funny car, actually.
Okay.
And I'll never forget, we were testing, and I did Indy, I did Charlotte, a handful of races. Those things, I was so happy to get back into a dragster after running a funny car. Now you're talking the short wheelbase. I drive a dragster, long wheelbase, 300 inches. Now you're talking a funny car that has this short wheelbase. The engine's in front of you. It's on your lap. So if it explodes, it's in your face. At least when I'm in a dragster and it explodes, it's behind me. I don't know how bad it is half the time until I see photos or the footage of it.
Yeah.
But getting in that car, again, it was this unknown animal, this unknown beast that I'm trying to drive. And I was so not used to the steering on these cars. You do so much steering in a funny car than you do a dragster. I remember the burnout. I about took out half the cones. And luckily, I'm in Courtney's car. It said Traxxas across the side of it, Brittany Force. People put up on Twitter videos of my burnout where I think I mowed down a few of the cones. And they said, did Courtney forget how to drive? I'm like, oh, thank God. They think it's Courtney driving. They don't know it's me. They have no idea. I'm sorry, Courtney, but she took the blame for that one. But I'll never forget, trying to back the thing up. It was like, okay, there's the stands over there. There's the stands on that. Okay, this is not how you're supposed to back up a car. But again, I'm used to a dragster. They go very straight. It takes a while until they start to turn.
Yeah.
So I was oversteering the thing. But I did make runs in the car. And then that's when Monster came in. Monster came on board 2015 in Atlanta. So I was able to keep my ride, stay in a dragster. I was so happy to go back to a dragster.
Yeah.
Funny car is it's a whole different animal.
That's interesting. I've always wondered that, the difference between the two, and being in a top fuel car, the stability of it and the handling, how that feels compared to a funny car.
A dragster definitely leaves a lot harder than a funny car, but you do so much more steering in a funny car.
Interesting. So how did Monster for you? How did that deal all come about?
Actually, it's a funny story. It was so 2015 is when they came on board. Courtney had become friends with somebody who worked for Traxxas. So she was in the girls' wedding. I became friends with her. I was in her wedding. So it was Mike Jenkins, who owns Traxxas. We were in their wedding. They got married out in North Carolina. We went on a joined bachelorette trip in Mexico. So Courtney and I went. Happens to be one of the groomsmen on Mike Jenkins' side was Mitch Covington, director of marketing for Monster Motorsports Marketing. And we happened to be the two that walked down the aisle together. So all weekend long, Kelly, so the bride, the girl who was getting married, my girlfriend who was getting married, kept putting in my ear because she knew I didn't have a sponsor. She knew what was going on. Like, I might have to step out of the seat. Like, might have to take a break for a while until we find a sponsor. She's like, he's a monster. Go get in his ear, chat him up, try to do something. So all weekend long, talking to him, get me in the office for a meeting. Like, come back to drag. Like, I know they were in drag racing years ago with Kenny Bernstein, and he was so, nope, we've been there, we won't go back. We've been there, we've done that, we're not interested. We were there with Kenny Bernstein, and we're not interested. And then he kept coming back, so how fast do you guys go now? And then the next day it'd be like, how many G's are you pulling? What's mile per hour? He was very interested. How many races do you do in a season? Asking all these questions. So I'm like, okay, he's interested.
Yeah.
He's talking. And by the end of the weekend, again, still trying to convince him, get me in, for a meeting. That's all I'm asking for. And again, it was, nope, not interested. By the end of the weekend, after too many margaritas, too much tequila, he was like, okay, girl, I'll get you in. Be there Monday, 8 a.m. You and your sister will chat, but I'm telling you right now, it's not going to go anywhere. I'm like, okay, great. So heading home, I text him again, make sure we're set up for Monday. And he's like, I agreed to that. I'm like, oh my gosh, he doesn't even remember. He's like, okay, well, if that's what I said, I'll see you Monday morning. So we go in, and Courtney and I we wrote out notes on what we wanted to say. We'd never gone and really pitched a sponsor before. Mm-hmm. So we had everything planned out, sat in front of my parents. I felt like a kid. Okay, does this sound right, Dad? What do we need to critique on this? What do we need to fix on this? But went in with the plan. Didn't stick to the script at all. It was completely different by the time we went in there.
Of course.
But they liked the idea of females in a male-dominated sport, and that was what sold them. They were not interested, but when they realized you're a female in this sport and you've been successful, your sisters have been successful, you're out there kicking the guys' asses. Yeah, we're interested. And that's where it all started.
Okay. And was it, when that happened, like, is it like this thing where it's like a 1-year deal or a multi-year deal? Or?
It was a multi-year deal.
Okay.
Yeah, it was, we signed on, they came on Atlanta, so a handful of races into our season, 2015. Yep. Multi-year deal. So once you get to the end of it, you try to renew it. And we've, been with Monster since.
That's awesome.
We had Advanced Auto Parts when Courtney stepped out of the seat. She was at Advanced. They came on board with me. Monster was still with us at the end of the season. Okay. So we did kind of, I did go with Advanced for a short period of time, but Monster, again, was not primary on the car. Okay. But then they came back full time.
So this might be a very dumb question, so bear with me. But
no, not at all.
One of the things that I've noticed is, like, sometimes your car will be decked out all Monster, and then other times it's a completely different sponsor. Yeah. How does that all work?
So that is Monster is my primary sponsor. So they have a majority of the races. Mm-hmm. They only pay for those races, those 10 or whatever it is. Okay. And we have other sponsors that have come in. They pay for 3 races. So Chevrolet's been with us for a few races. Mm-hmm. HendrickCars.com, I think, was with us for 3 or 4 races. Mm-hmm. Graham Rahal Performance with us for another race. So it's just it's hard to get sponsors nowadays for an entire season, every single race. Okay. So Monster owns half of them, and then the other half have gone to other sponsors. Okay. So yeah, I'll come out some weekends and kids will be confused. Why is Chevy on your car? Monster's still on there. You see it over there. Yeah. But it's just not the primary. Okay.
Yeah, I was wondering about that because I've noticed that, and there were times you're like, in fully decked out Chevrolet, but I do see the Monster logo like in the back, and I'm like, I wonder how this all works. Yeah. Interesting. So I know for you at the end of the season, things are changing a little bit. I don't want to say retirement because it doesn't totally sound like that's...
You're the first one that said that.
Good. That makes me happy then. But yeah, it doesn't sound like you are calling it a retirement. That's not the vibe that I got. Just that you're in a place where you and your husband want to start a family. Yeah. When did that kind of click for you that this was a decision you wanted to make?
It's always been in the back of my mind. When I first came into the sport in, my rookie season, it was in the back of my mind. Being a female, again, men out here have the luxury of they could compete every single weekend and start a family. Yeah. Coming in as a female, it's going to look different for me. I watched both my sisters, finish their season, step out of the seat, and then try to start a family. Mm-hmm. So it was always in the back of my mind. I always knew that was there. But again, I wasn't at that point. I was so focused on my career. I didn't even know if I wanted to get, all I wanted was to focus on my career. Yeah. a lot of my girlfriends in high school and college, all they want to do was be married and have kids. And I'm like, oh, that's not me. I want to focus on a career. Hopefully that'll come later down the road. So my focus really wasn't there yet at the time when I came in the sport. Again, it was in the back of my head, like the dangers of the sport. There's just things getting involved that are always in the back of your mind you have to think about before, stepping into such a commitment. And it was my husband and I got married last year, so that's kind of when we started dating, kind of already thinking about that.
Okay.
And it was really when Courtney, my younger sister, has 2 little girls now. Actually, she has 3. She just had her 3rd one like a couple days ago.
Oh my gosh, congrats.
Thank
That's
you.
awesome.
So all little girls. But it was watching both my sisters, my nieces and my nephews, spending time with them, being on the road so much. I miss being home. I'd miss trick-or-treating with my little nieces, and they'd send me pictures of their little Halloween costumes, and it's like, I definitely miss being there. But it was being around them where I was kind of like, okay, maybe kids is in the picture for me. Maybe I'm interested in having kids. So my husband and I have been talking about it. We ended up getting married end of last season. Kind of considered it actually last season. That last season I thought might be my final season. And then my dad's wreck happened. And then for a moment it was, this is sitting here in the hospital looking at my dad, this is my sign that maybe we're done here. Like I've done so much in my career. I've had a handful of scary moments, but I've always climbed out on top. And now I'm sitting here in the hospital with my dad who's in a coma. Maybe we should really rethink things. Yeah. And then, my dad made an incredible recovery. It was months. He made an incredible recovery and came back to the racetrack with all of us. He's out there every single weekend. And then when the end of the last season came, I was not ready. I knew, nope. I know that I was kind of thinking that beginning of the season and then everything that happened with my dad. But as the end of the season was coming and the countdown was coming, I'm like, nope, I'm just not ready. I do not feel ready yet. I'm not done. So my crew chiefs have known about it. We talked about it last season. My team's known about it. They've all been in they have all been in that inner circle. They know all about it.
Yeah.
I'm lucky that they've all kept it quiet because, again, it's sponsors are online. There's so much on the line.
Yeah.
And so coming into this season, it was just, I felt different about it, and I knew, okay, this is going to be my last season. And it's to step out. I'm not saying retirement. It's to step out at the end of the season and see if we could start a family.
Yeah.
I don't know what is down the road for me, but once I get there, will I come back? I don't know until I'm there. But I'm not closing the door to driving. I love it. It's so hard to step away from it. But this year's the right time. I feel it in my heart. I know that it is. And I'm lucky that I have a great team behind me that supports me while doing it.
How has it been I know the season's coming to an end for you guys, knowing that this chapter is about to come to a close? How is it feeling the closer you get to that?
It's coming up so quickly.
Yeah.
We go to Vegas and then Pomona is our finals.
Yeah.
So, since summer, it has flown by. I announced in Reading, Pennsylvania. That's when I made the announcement that I'll be getting out of the seat at the end of the season. And since then, it's gone by so fast. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm hanging on to every moment of it.
Yeah.
But again, I am ready. I'm excited for, this new chapter. I don't know where it'll go. I don't know if I'll return. I don't know, but I'm ready for something. I'm ready to make space for something new. Yeah.
Yeah. Has it made this season maybe feel a little bit lighter knowing that this is what's coming, if that makes sense?
It's had its ups and downs.
Okay.
I have these great moments with my team. So much of it goes back to my team. I love my guys. They're like brothers to me. When you're on the road as much as we are, they become your family. They just have to be because you're away from your family so much. And it's more the people in the industry. I've made so many connections. I've so many relationships out here. It's what's hard for me. Thinking about not being out there with them every single weekend, not being in such a team atmosphere. It takes every single one of 10 of us to make this car go down the racetrack and turn on wind lights. It's thinking about not being there every weekend for that. That's been the hard part.
Yeah. How, with Pomona being the last round of the season, once that ends for you, how do you think you'll feel at that moment, that day?
I don't know. I can't. I've been asked that, and I'm like, I I don't know. Because one of our PR guys was like, I'm thinking maybe we film something fun for social media and it's the last run. And I was like, holy shit. Until you just said that, I didn't even think about that. Like, you're right. Like, what will be the last? And I'm like, I can't think about that. Again, I just keep reminding myself that maybe I will come back. Maybe I will get in the seat. Maybe I'll come back and do a match race. Mm-hmm. So to like put all this focus and energy on like a final run, a final weekend, it's really overwhelming. So I can't. For me, I've always in my career said one run at a time. Focus on one run at a time. Don't look too far ahead. Just in that moment. Be in that moment, be present in what you're doing, and go from there.
And I know earlier this year you set a record.
Yeah.
What kind of walk me through that moment and kind of what went into that?
So I held the record back in 2022. Actually, it was Pomona. It was St. Louis, and then we did it in Pomona, and it was 338 miles per hour. So I held the top speed. And then we came out this season and we went 340. We've done it a handful of times. So our most recent one is Indianapolis. We did it this year, just a few months ago, 343.51 miles per hour. 343. It's insane just to say it. Like, when we had made the run on that one, I knew it was freaking fast. I have a radio so I could talk to my guys. Okay. If I need to, if something's wrong, they could talk to me. It's mostly them going back and forth. And I remember on the run, I got on the radio as quick as I could. I just knew. I knew, like, this is a killer run. Again, we already held it from Sonoma, a few months before. But I'm like, guys, tell me, what was the ET? What was the mile per hour? And I could kind of hear him. I'm at the top end turning off the racetrack, so it's not crystal clear. But I'm like, I think I just heard him say 343. 343 what? Like, what did we run? And so I knew in that moment with them getting on the other line, like I knew it was a killer run. But I had to be sure. What if I heard him wrong? So I climbed out, and I could just tell by everyone at the top end how they reacted, like, holy shit, we just pulled off another record. Mile per hour.
I mean, I know it's probably, there's no words to describe, like, what that feels like, but, like, going that fast, like, in a handful of seconds.
I know 4 seconds doesn't seem like much, but it really does slow down when you're in the car. I could come back after a run and tell my crew chief, there was this light vibration past the Christmas tree, and then it cleared up, and then it came back at 700 feet before I got to the finish line. I think I clicked it 50 feet early, and he'll pull everything up, and like, yep, right there, 600 feet, 50 feet. Like, a lot goes on in a run, and for some, I know 4 seconds seems impossible, but it really does. It slows down somehow.
Yeah.
That run, I knew it was fast. And it wasn't the initial launch. It's not when the 100% of that clutch comes in at 2 seconds. It was further down the racetrack. It was that 600-700 feet to that 1,000 foot where it really put me to the back of my seat. And my belts are freaking tight. Like, I could barely move in there, and I felt it throw me to the back of my seat, and it was like I was hanging on for dear life till I could shut the car off at the 1,000 foot. And that was what told me, okay, that was a killer run. And I talked to my crew chief about it, and he said, we've been working all season. We've always been slow from 600-700 feet to that 1,000 foot. So we've been trying to improve that area. We've been trying to accelerate the car faster. So that's where those mile per hours have come from.
And what are you guys doing to find that extra speed at that part of the track?
It's all crew chief. We also removed this season we call them the mud flaps, or what's the technical term? What's the technical term for them? I'll get in trouble for saying mud flaps. That's just what we've called them for so many years. Air deflectors. What? Air deflectors? Yeah. So we removed those beginning of the season.
Okay.
And that's where we started seeing some change in our performance. But how can you weigh one season from all my previous seasons going back to 2013? How do you weigh one season amongst all those? Can you pinpoint what it is?
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I just, again, crew chief's been focusing on picking up our 700 feet to our 1,000 foot numbers.
Yeah. It's wild. Like, I remember, because I follow you on Instagram, so when I saw this, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
Yeah. I was like, my God. From like a safety standpoint, I feel like the sport is like elevated quite a bit over the years.
Yeah.
And especially like I mentioned earlier, like my best friend, that Nathan, that's into the sport, like he knows all this type of stuff. So he's like, when I went in 2022, he's like telling me all this stuff about the cars and how your dad was responsible for a lot of like the safety in the cars now. I guess, yeah, like from your perspective, you're in the hot seat. Like, how safe does it feel for you, like when you're in the car and you're doing what you're doing?
I feel safe in my car. And again, it's my team that, straps me in that car. I put all my faith in my guys, my crew chief, who sends me down the racetrack. And sometimes he tells me, hey, hang on a little bit tighter on this run. I'm like, oh shit, what does he have planned for this run? I guess conditions, track, everything's great.
Yeah.
So he knows what he could do. But again, I put my faith in my team that they strap me into a safe car. And that hopefully with my experience and seat time, if something goes wrong, I could react right.
Yeah.
And these cars have come a long way in safety. We've over the years since my dad's really bad first wreck, 27, he's had a handful of them. But they've advanced a long ways.
Yeah. Sweet. I only have a couple things and then we'll get you out of here. These are like just some things I ask every guest at the very end. First thing would be if you are a realist, optimist, or pessimist.
I would definitely say, optimist.
Okay.
I always try to see the positive.
Yeah.
Even in, I see it a lot in race day. Like last weekend, we were in St. Louis. We had a killer car all weekend. We qualified well. We went down the racetrack every single time. I was on my game. I was cutting great lights. And it was like, I knew like this is our day to win. And we had a mechanical error. And we pulled up for the semifinals, again against Steve Torrance.
Okay. Yeah.
And did the burnout. Car shut off, died. Couldn't even back the thing up. The guys had to roll me out, roll back the car up, climb out of the car, and then I watched Steve just go down there. And to have that chance, that opportunity taken from you, there's nothing harder than standing on that track with your team, just watching the win light that you could have turned on. It's not even an option anymore. And for me in that moment, it was, my guys were so beat up over it. All of us were. We knew what the problem was. We knew how to fix it, avoid it for next time. And for me, I saw it as, for whatever reason, that was supposed to happen, and I'm okay with that.
Okay.
I'm not going to look at it as, we lost out, we should have won. I didn't see it that way. I saw it as, there's a reason. I'm not a big religious person, but there's a reason. I feel there's a reason God didn't want me to get in that car, so it was shut it off on the burnout. And that's how I saw it. Like, there is a reason the car didn't go down the racetrack. I don't know if I'll ever know what it is. I don't need to know. But I believe in you find the positive in even the bad.
Yeah. That's a good way to look at it. I'm kind of the same. I'm not really a religious person by any means, but going back to like the mental health thing, I had a therapy session the other day, and we were talking about some stuff that happened, and it was similar to what you said. And I was just like, I'm not like a religious person, but I feel like that was, supposed to happen. Yeah. For whatever reason, like it maybe prevented something else from happening, or allowed for something else to happen.
Yeah, 100%. I fully believe that.
Yeah.
I believe everything will always work its way out as it should, and everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
Whether we understand that or not, I believe that.
Yeah. What's your guilty pleasure?
Guilty pleasure.
Could be anything.
Anything.
Mine is Taco Bell and Vanderpump Rules.
Okay. Mine is at home with my cat and a glass of wine, watching some show on TV. Whatever I'm binge watching.
All right. Red wine, white wine?
White wine.
White? Okay.
Always white wine.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my guilty pleasure.
Are you a Swiftie?
Yeah, I am a Taylor Swift fan. Courtney had Taylor Swift, her album on her car years ago.
Okay.
It was one of her coolest cars she ever had. I don't remember what the album was. But it sits in our Yorba Linda shop. Okay. It's the coolest car ever, and it has Taylor Swift's face down the side of it. And at the time when she ran it, I want to say it was Vegas. She was on it dropped cylinders. The car was freaking sideways. It was all over the place. She was doing everything, fighting to keep the car in her lane, get it down the racetrack. And she got out of the car. She was safe. Didn't hit any cones. Didn't hit a wall. Climbed out on the other end. My dad was like, that was bitchin'. I could see Taylor Swift's face all the way down the racetrack. And it was like, no, that's on the side of your car. You're not supposed to see her face. Not if you're standing behind the car.
Yeah.
But yes, definitely a Taylor Swift fan. We actually had the opportunity when Courtney was running that car to meet her and go to one of her concerts. She was one of the most down-to-earth, I mean, took the time. She's getting ready to go on stage in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And came and took the time to like sit with Courtney and talk to her and met me. I mean, I couldn't even believe it. I'm like, you're getting ready to go on stage right now? And I remember her manager or somebody was like, Taylor, we got to go. And she's like, hold on, I'm not done. Courtney, tell me more about what you, like, I couldn't even believe it. It was so cool that she really took the time and really cared to spend time with us.
That's awesome. My wife is this big Taylor Swift fan.
Yeah.
She'll appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's like, I did a project with quite a few years ago, 2019, 2020, with Tom DeLonge from Blink-182.
Oh, okay.
And like, I grew up on Blink's music. Like that's like, my jam. And so when I got to do the project with him, I was like, I really hope this isn't one of those deals where it's like never meet your heroes, because if he's a dick, this is really
it's gonna break your heart.
This is gonna suck so bad. But the same thing, he was so kind, humble, polite. Like, if you didn't know who he was, you would have had no idea that he was this dude in this massive rock band. I'm like, fuck, does this make you even cooler?
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
And then last thing, if we'd have dinner with 3 people that are alive, who would they be?
3 people. Like, do they have to be connected at all?
No.
I would say Eric Medlin, my old teammate. We lost him in 2007, terrible testing wreck. And that's where then my dad's wreck happened right after his. And just that's where we started to develop a safer race car.
Okay.
So it'd definitely be him, because he was such a fan favorite in the sport. He was driving a funny car, and I was just in awe of him, of everything that he did. He was great with the fans, and I'll never forget. He struggled with reaction time, same as me, and I'll never forget. He was with all the crew chiefs and my dad, and they were like, "Just go up there and don't think. You're thinking too much. Go up there and just don't think about that amber coming on and stepping on the throttle. You know what to do. Don't think." So we went up there. The tree came down, and he sat there, and then he left and he came back, and he was like, "Well, that didn't work." And we're like, "Oh shit, we didn't think it'd go that way." So it definitely would be Eric. Just now that I'm, again, we lost him in 2007. So I'd sit down and definitely want to pick his brain apart and connect with him again. Now that I'm in the seat and driving.
Yeah.
Definitely him. Again, they don't have to connect. It could be anybody.
Could be anybody.
Who would I want? Okay, I'm always been a fan of Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Ooh, okay.
I was a big Buffy fan back in the day.
Yeah.
People would always ask me if somebody could, not always, but if I randomly get asked who would play you in a movie, I always said Sarah Michelle Gellar.
I could
Absolutely love her. And then I have to go with my celebrity crush, Ben Affleck.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Sweet. Anything else you want to add or that we didn't hit
Now
on?
I'm rethinking this, who I'm eating dinner with. Who were yours?
Mine would be Walt Disney, JFK, and then my celebrity crush is Jenny Taft, who is a Fox Sports sideline reporter.
Okay.
She was a reporter in Supercross for a handful of years, and we met once, and I just stood there like a total dork, didn't know what to do. So her.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Okay, I might throw in Jamie Anderson, snowboarder.
Okay.
I've did an event with her, but we only got to hang out for a short period of time. But I absolutely just loved her and her vibe and her perspective on snowboarding and just the way she viewed life. Absolutely loved her. She's very much a free spirit, and I don't know. She's just, everything happens for the same thing we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
And so maybe I'd throw her in there too.
Okay. I
Yeah.
like it. Sweet. Oh yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for
This is
doing
great.
this. Yeah, it was rad. Glad we could. Thanks to Nathan over there. Finally
Yeah.
make this happen.
I
So,
know.
Sweet. Yeah. Thanks again.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
This was great.
Yeah. Sweet.